Bitcoin is crashing, XRP is crashing, literally everything is crashing, and it's not just crypto. This is because of the broader market, and it's easy to say because most of you probably came into crypto at the top, promised, God knows what as far as prices and price appreciation. I know for XRP, we've had the $1,000 XRP, the $10,000 XRP. For Bitcoin, we've heard the $1 million Bitcoin and everything in between. So for most people finding this stream or finding this video, it's going to be because you bought at the top and you're now watching your entire portfolio disappear. This is not that type of channel. This is not that type of stream. We are here for the long view. We are here for what the price is going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because the fundamentals of crypto have not changed. But I'm not here to sell you hype and hope you. We're here for news, fundamentals, and stuff that we can track every single day. I see everyone signing off in the chat. I appreciate you. I see people saying let it fall. If you were in the stream yesterday, we were talking about Bitcoin first and foremost, and we're going to cover everything. We cover everything on this channel. We cover crypto, we cover metals, we cover news, we cover everything 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, or Monday through Saturday for that matter, every single day at noon. Right now, Bitcoin is down this Bitcoin, not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is down to 66,000 right now. Yesterday in stream, we were talking about it falling to 68. I thought 55K. It's fallen through 68, and it does look like that 55K is coming up soon. We're going to discuss what levels you need to worry about. And it all really depends on what type of investor you are, because a lot of people feel like they're sitting on decision point right now, especially when we get into something and we're looking at XRP. XRP getting absolutely pummeled right now. It's at $1.24. I said that I thought I could go to $1.25, $1.20. If Bitcoin gets as low as 55 or even lower, we could see sub $1 XRP. And I know that's painful. But again, it's not just XRP. It is literally the entire crypto market. If you go out and look at the broad space, everything is being destroyed this week. XLM's down 23% this week. Zcash is down. Canton Coin's down 2%. One of our other plays here on the channel. Again, none of this is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. You need to do your own research. Investment comes with the risk of loss, as everybody can see at this point, right? Everybody is probably losing at this point unless you're shorting the markets or you've been specifically only in gold and silver, because gold and silver is doing well. I did actually get in on some more silver this morning when it was at $73 an ounce. So I'm kind of happy about that right now. And again, not financial advice. But the entire market is bleeding right now. And truthfully, it has nothing to do with crypto. I mean, that's easy to say. Sitting here, that's easy to say. If you're in a position to buy right now, and again, not financial advice, but if I'm in a position to buy right now, I'm buying. I'm looking at it as reloading. I spent most of the morning putting buy orders in at various levels as we see this continue to go lower. I have a massive buy order in for XRP at 80 cents if it gets that low. Again, not financial advice, but that's how I'm viewing it. I'm constantly, right now at least, because I have capital to play with, I'm constantly positioning myself to make purchases. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm buying XRP at the current price. I'm not buying it at $1.25, but I have a buy order in way down here, which I can't even zoom out that far, at 80 cents in case it dips over there. I have a large buy order there. You can see my last buy order I had when it dropped below 175. I had one sitting at the 165 level, right? That's how I do my buying. When I go to make a purchase, I'm like, I think it's going to go down this low, and I'll put the buy order in. And then when it gets to that level, it automatically buys it for me. And again, none of that is financial advice. And you guys weren't even looking at the screen, but none of that is financial advice. But that's just how I operate with it. And more often than not, the price will come back to that level, especially if you're looking at it for a long view investment. That's why I just picked up silver at $73 an ounce this morning, because I had an order placed ready to go. So when it hit that level, I was ready to hop back in, because after I saw that pullback and then it jumped back up to 85, I'm like, I think it's going to pull back again before it finds a new floor. And I think it's developing its floor at that $70, $70, $75 an ounce area. So I picked up some more there. But again, none of that's financial advice. So the entire market is pulling back. Now, how low is this going to go? That's what a lot of people are worried about. And I see you guys rolling off in the chat. Keep the chat going. We will do the way my streams work. If you're coming in new, is we will go through all the information I have for you. We have a lot of chart analysis. We have a lot of news, right, that's happening right now because of this terrible market happening right now. But we're going to explain exactly why, because it has nothing to do with crypto. I'm going to get into that. Okay, what we're seeing is crypto react to broader things taking place. This is all risk off rotation. This is tech stocks. This is jobs data coming in bad. This is geopolitical. I mean, it's everything, right? Not a good place to be for the overall sentiment of the economy. And what's happening in the AI sector right now is scary. That's why we're seeing collapsing in the software stocks. We're seeing pullbacks in tech stocks. I mean, Nvidia, AMD got absolutely hammered the last 2 days. So it's rolling off. So why are these markets bleeding? I think it's because of public credit. And I can hop into that stuff as we get further. Let me get through the meat and basis. Keep the questions going. But the sell-off in crypto has nothing to do with crypto, because fundamentally nothing has changed. We've had nothing but positive news and positive tailwinds for crypto. For as a long view play, nothing has changed. But we're seeing the pain in the markets. So what can we expect for Bitcoin? Again, my analysis, not financial advice. So line in the sand, 70K. We just crashed past that. We're at 66 now. So that's the first level of support. According to my analysis, that would leave XRP at $1.25 to $1.20. Well, Bitcoin's at 66 right now, and XRP is at $1.25. So this seems to be lining up perfectly so far. I put this together yesterday. The prices didn't wait for the stream, guys. I'm sorry. So next level of support is going to be 62 to 60K. So if we see Bitcoin get to 60K, we could see XRP fall as low as $1.05 to $1. And then deep support, 55K for Bitcoin, is the 85 cents to 80. This is, again, I put this together yesterday. This is why I set up my personal buy order for 80 cents on XRP. Do your own research. I am not a financial advisor, but that's what I am looking at. And if we blow past 52K and get to the 40K zone, whoo boy. If we see that, which is possible, and I'm going to give you the scenario in which that is possible. If you were in the members only live stream last night, we were discussing that I planned on shorting Bitcoin. I bought puts on IBIT this morning because I couldn't get it early enough last night. But if you were in the members only live stream, I said I was going to short Bitcoin because I thought it was going to go to 55K. So I bought puts on IBIT this morning, and I am so glad that I did that. But again, not financial advice. You can become a member. It's $7.99. That gets you the members only live stream. We will have a weekly newsletter soon, and that'll get you everything that comes beyond just those two things, because you would be a founding member. First 100 members become a founding member. That is still out there. So this is what I'm thinking. Now, what does this mean for you, right? What should you do? That's what everyone wants to know. What should I do? Well, you have to ask yourself, are you a short-term investor or a long-term investor? Because if you're a short-term trader, you should get the hell out now. My opinion, not financial advice. If you're trying to time tops and bottoms, I do not think we are at the bottom, and that is not financial advice. If you're a long-term holder, this is the easiest one. You do nothing. It sucks to watch. It's painful to watch. But 5 years from now, this is going to be a blip on the radar, in my opinion. Now, also, if you're a long-term investor and you have some gunpowder, you have some ammo, you're ready to hop in full and heavy, don't. Pump the brakes a little bit. You scale in over time, right? Put in buy orders, set levels in advance, have a strategic plan to how you're going to invest. Yeah, if we look at XRP, I had a buy order at $1.64. Yeah, $1.64, because I thought it was going to pull back to $1.65. I had talked about that in the stream. I said if it pulls past $1.75, then it opens up this level. So I put my buy order there when it pulled past $1.75. And then we were talking about $1.25 and $1.20 yesterday. So I started doing some more research and came up with this. So that's why I put my buy order in at 80 cents. It's not necessarily, there's different ways to dollar cost average. And it's not necessarily about timing tops or bottoms. It's about coming up with a thought and a plan, taking emotion out of it, and then executing on that plan with discipline. That's me. That's how I look at how I'm entering into my positions. Now, for most people, 20 bucks here, 20 bucks there, dollar cost average in when you can, right? It's different for every situation. It's not going to be person specific. There's no one way to rule them all. But for me, whatever is going to allow you to be the most consistent and the most disciplined is going to be the way to go. And you'll refine it as you continue building out throughout this process. And remember, the first thing you need to work on is your foundation. Excuse me. So when we're talking about let's hop off price for a little bit, because there is news. Let's hop into news. Okay, enough bleeding, enough price, enough sadness. Let's talk into the fundamentals on why we are here. So for those of you who are in the stream for a while now, you know I love my XRP account activity. Account set activity still staying up there. I check it every day. But now we're seeing the payment activity follow suit, consistently spiking up at 1.8, 1.9 million. Again, we haven't seen these levels since March of last year. I want to see this continue to go beyond and past 2 million and then push beyond that. That's and maintain those levels, not just spikes. And what we're seeing is consistent growth, and they're maintaining the levels right now, which I love to see. But what's even more exciting, and this is why I'm really hopping in on 80 cents, me personally, is because I think Bitcoin's going to continue to fall. But already today, we're at 1.2 million. That was the last I refreshed. Let me refresh again. Verifying I'm human, yes. So this is the actual ledger activity, by the way, is everyone who's an XRP holder should probably have this bookmarked. Just throwing that out there. But as of right now, right this moment, today, we're currently at 1.6 million in transactions. I think we're going to go over 2 million transactions today. This is real ledger activity ramping up. We just had the announcement with Hyperliquid yesterday. And again, you can follow me on X at LongView Crypto. But we had the announcement with Hyperliquid yesterday. Again, bringing real DeFi to the XRPL and to Ripple. This is exciting stuff. Now, let's go to my bookmarks here so we can get the most recent news. So Ledger enables permissioned domains after XLS 80 approval. The Ledger has activated XLS, showing a 91% validator approval, introducing credential-gated domains designed to support compliant use cases for public XRPL. So this is good for institutions. This is big for institutions. It allows private domains, right? They wanted privacy. The activation of permission domains on the XRPL signals a push towards institutional and regulated adoption. Again, good news for the XRPL, good news for Ripple, as we're seeing account activity and payments activity start to increase. Ondo Finance 2026 will be the year of tokenization. BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, Fidelity, State Street, they're all there. They're getting more into the space. This is true. We covered the Ondo Summit a couple days ago. Luckily for us, we have XRP Community Day coming up on February 11th. I will probably be streaming all day again. I hope to see you guys there as we cover that one. But truthfully, I mean, the tailwinds, I understand price is garbage right now, and we'll get back to price and we'll get back to all that stuff. But I mean, the fundamental tailwinds have not changed. They are strongly behind crypto and what tokenization is going to be moving forward. Payment activity coming on chain. When we're talking about how stable coins have ramped up over the last 7 months, when we talk about how the stablecoins have ramped up over the last 7 months since the Genius Act, I really do think once we get the structure bill done, once we get the Clarity Act done, we're going to see a lot more institutions leaning into the use of blockchain technology and of the native tokens. Now, a lot of these tokens are utility based. XRP is utility based. Canton Network's utility based, right? Some of them will appreciate with the blockchains, things like Ondo, things like that's why they're still speculative. That's why they're so cheap to get into, and that's why they're so volatile. You need to understand the risk levels, right? Now, when we're younger, we have more room to take risk, but that's why I also hold silver, gold, copper, and real estate. Crypto does make up a large chunk of my portfolio. It makes up literally 50% of it, which is more than anyone would probably recommend you should do. That's why I say it's not financial advice. But I do hold a ton of gold, silver, copper, and real estate too. I'm not all in on one thing. I'm building for what I think we're going to need in the future over the next 10 years, and I'm glad to share that with you. So, tokenization moving forward. Tether now coming to the Canton Network, the Tether USDT, right? So this is the one that is compliant in the United States. Of course, this just became compliant very, very quickly, and now the Canton Network is a super validator for the Canton Network. Again, we see how this is playing out behind the scenes. I love my Canton Network. Again, hit the like button if you guys like Canton. Sign off if you're holding Canton. Give me a thumbs up emoji, something in the chat. If you're holding Canton, let me know. There's a very small group of us, but we're building out for the long view. Chainlink, 1.1 billion total value locked, and BTC5 protocol has integrated Chainlink proof of reserve on Ethereum to deliver real-time verification of LBTC and BTCB collateral. So Chainlink growing again. Now, they mentioned Ethereum. There's really nothing about Ethereum in regards to this post, but I've been thinking. I mean, Ethereum is Wall Street's baby. There's so much money behind Ethereum. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, literally like 65% of everything tokenized is truly on Ethereum. As much as we hate it, we have to admit that's where the money likes to go. And I always say, follow the money. And at these prices, I was thinking if Bitcoin sees, if Ethereum sees $1,000, I might have to pick up a couple. I mean, that's just so cheap. How do you think Tom Lee's feeling today? Someone who's lost over half of their money in a year. Yeesh. Talk about an asset manager under fire. I bet he's sweating bullets right about now. Paul Barron, narrative shift. For years, the too big to fail crowd has used safety as an excuse to keep stablecoins out of the hands of the little guys. Now, the crypto industry is flipping the script. Main Street over Wall Street by using community banks to reserve deposits and settlement crypto, building a bridge to the banks that actually lend to local businesses. Oops, ABA not gonna like this move. This would be a monopoly. This move directly challenges the big banks' efforts to loophole the Genius Act to keep smaller competitors sidelined. So the big banks are trying to keep people from making money with stablecoins. Shocker, big banks are trying to screw the little guy, right? So crypto industry proposes an expanded community bank involvement stablecoin infrastructure to break the deadlock on market structure bill. So that's the deadlock on the market structure bill, is the big banks are trying to keep all the yield to themselves. Big shocker. XRP ledger activates. We already talked about that. Ripple Prime just high-fived Hyperliquid, and the institutional doors aren't just open, they have been kicked off the hinges. So this is important. I mentioned Hyperliquid yesterday, but Paul Barron had some excellent additions. He said the big money magnet, it's like putting free pizza sign on the front of Wall Street. Huge institutions can now jump into on-chain derivatives on the XRP ledger with Ripple Prime and Hyperliquid without the headache. It's a one-stop cross-margining crypto with everything else. That's smooth. Ripple is making the internet of value look easy, and XRP is at the heart of the ecosystem. Again, XRP is a liquidity bridge. It needs things to switch between. The more value and use case comes to the ledger, the more transactions come to the ledger, the more XRP can appreciate from utility. That's what we are here for. Institutional DeFi. Ripple isn't just for payments anymore. They're building a whole playground. More big banks on Ripple's rails equals more utility for the entire ecosystem. The suit and tie crowd has now joined the on-chain mosh pit, and things are going to get loud. I completely agree with what Paul Barron is saying in regards to this. It's only going to increase from here. Now, we've covered hyperliquid. Options traders. Now, I said we would talk more about what's actually happening in the markets, okay? Let me go back to this real quick. So we covered the good news from Twitter. Yay, feels good. And again, you can follow me on X at LongView Crypto. But, so why has Bitcoin been pulling back, right? We're going to say, why has Bitcoin been going back? Over the last 3 months, Bitcoin and all of crypto has been pulling back. This is NVIDIA. What's NVIDIA been doing over the last 3 months? You guys see something here? It's been a straight downturn for NVIDIA since the beginning of the month, mind you. But if we zoom out, so again, everything else has been falling, right? The entire month, Bitcoin, everything. Let's go out to the 4-hour candle so I can zoom out further. When was this? October. What happened in October? We had the great liquidation event on October 10th. Shortly after, tech stocks rolled over and we had liquidation in tech stocks starting on October 31st. And it's only been down since then. We just saw massive liquidations in Bitcoin over the last month. We saw massive liquidations in NVIDIA over the last month. Let's try another one. Let's look at Oracle. Everyone likes Oracle, right? OpenAI, Oracle, too big to fail. Not. Look at Oracle since September, right? They're down from 340 over down to 140. They're down over 50% since September. What about AMD? What's AMD doing? AMD took a sharp plunge yesterday. I mean, they just went off a freaking cliff. They went from, let's see, as of January 23rd of this year, they went from 265 to 192. Tech stocks, AI stocks are now getting destroyed. I've been talking for months about a potential AI bubble because so much debt is in it. So what kind of debt is in it? Well, that's private credit, right? That's private debt. And I know this stuff has nothing to do with crypto, but this is why the crypto prices are moving right now. Let's look at Blue Owl. If you guys are familiar with Blue Owl Capital, right? Private credit firm, highly involved with these companies, right? With these tech companies, with these AI companies. So Blue Owl Capital. Look at them. Down 50% since July of this year. This is a private credit. Now, once these places start to go under, so where do these private credit banks get their money? Where do these private credit people get their money? They get it from the big banks, from the JP Morgans, from the cities, right? This is how this stuff happened in 2008. And the big banks had to get bailed out. It starts with these little public or these little private credit people who are getting their money from the big banks, and they're doing all this shadow banking crap behind the scenes and pumping things up full of debt. Makes the whole stock market look good, and then risk off rotates. That's why people were fleeing the gold and silver while this was crashing. And again, not financial advice. I'm not, I'm just a guy on the internet. What do I know? But I've heard people tell me I'm wrong. I follow facts, figures, numbers, and logic, and I've been thinking with XRP that the supply and the Clarity Act and the utility would help it separate itself from this. And it hasn't happened yet. One day it will, but fundamentally, I have not changed my thesis on XRP. I still think it's going to solve a very big problem. I still think it's going to appreciate, but I'm a realist. The market's the market. And when you have the entire tech sector taking a dump right now, nothing's going to save anything. That's just how it goes. Let's hop into the chat. I got more news. Actually, before I hop out, let's go into this news because this was some pretty big news. I wish we could get more involved with it. SBI Holdings and Startail unveil a new layer 1 blockchain called Stream. SBI, a Ripple partner, by the way. second largest bank in Japan. Startail Group and SBI Holdings Inc. unveiled Stream Network, a layer 1 blockchain platform aimed at building and trading and settlement infrastructure for tokenized securities and real-world asset-linked products. The announcement represents the first major milestone from the strategic partnership announced in 2025, with proof of concept complete and ready to demonstrate its approach to delivering institutional-ready on-chain capital infrastructure. Stream is designed to support 24/7 trading with spot derivatives tied to tokenized securities and to connect with blockchain networks and traditional finance. So it's going to be another on and off ramp to other blockchains and traditional finance interoperability. Leveraging SBI Holdings' ecosystem of more than 80 million existing customers and expertise across securities, banking, and financial services, Stream is uniquely positioned to bridge institutional demand, professional trading activity, and real-world market participation on-chain as demand grows for more sophisticated ways to express macro, equity, and cross-asset views. Stream positions itself to serve as the foundational trading and settlement infrastructure for Asia's on-chain security markets. So new layer 1s are now starting to pop up, backed by banks. And before you ask, you cannot buy it right now. Cannot buy Stream right now. There's no possible way to get it. Once a way comes up, I'll make you aware of it once I find out, because I'm interested in it. Any layer 1 coming up by a bank, I'm certainly piques my interest, so to speak. XRP DeFi opens institutions as Hex Trust adds custodial FXRP access. So Hex Trust, right? Working with Solana, Wormhole, Ethereum, all those places, interoperability spreading further and further now for XRP, now to FXRP with Hex Trust. Hex Trust expanded its partnership with Flare to offer institutional clients custodial access to Flare's XRP-focused DeFi ecosystem, including minting of XRP tokens and redemption and native staking of Flare. The integration lets institutions keep assets under Hex's custody while interacting with Flare through controlled approvals and multi-approval policy workflows addressing operational compliance concerns and hot wallets. Flare's FXRP and F Assets system, now supported by Hex, aims to turn XRP into a usable collateral for on-chain lending and trading, with plans to add more assets such as Bitcoin over time. So XRP DeFi expanding even more. Jim Cramer sets Bitcoin line in the sand at 73K. It smashed through that. So really, when we're talking about Bitcoin and the price going down, you cannot discuss it. We don't need that. Hang on. Where's my Bitcoin? We cannot discuss it without discussing strategy. What is going to happen with strategy? We have the strategy earnings report today at market close. This is why I got in. This is another reason why I got in short on IBIT. Strategy is going to get destroyed in this earnings report at the end of today. How is that going to affect Bitcoin? Do we think that's going to be positive for Bitcoin? Or do we think it's going to be negative for Bitcoin? And that means it's either going to be positive or negative for the rest of the market. I personally am of the belief it's not going to be good news for Bitcoin if MicroStrategy gets destroyed in their earnings today. We're probably going to see a pullback tonight. Again, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But I am here for the long view. It's about dollar cost averaging in over time, putting myself in the putting myself in the best possible position for the next 5 to 10 years. But in order to know where we're going, we have to know where we are. We have to know what we're dealing with, right? So let's talk to the chat. I appreciate you guys. I had a lot of information to cover. Usually I hop into the chat within the first 20 minutes, but hopefully you guys were going. I was really focused in today. There's just so much information, truthfully. Let's see here. And, I'm actually going to do this. While I am going over the chat, instead of just looking at my ugly mug the whole time, I'm going to put Bitcoin up here on the screen, and you guys can see what's happening with Bitcoin. Or yeah, Bitcoin's good. We'll just leave Bitcoin up there on the 5-minute chart to track while I'm going in the chat. So, chat time. All right. Hello, world of friends. Crypto Roger was the first one in here. Howdy, sir. Shay is in the house. Welcome, Shay. Crypto Roger says, I'm older than Scott and most of you. To me, what's important is upgrading your quality of life now, not in 10 years. So I would cash out 50K XRP anywhere after 20 US dollar. Okay, so once you think it gets to 20, I mean, quality of life is important. We only have so much life to live. I focus on if I sell anything, me personally, and I think that's good advice, Crypto Roger. Me personally, if I sell anything, I want to turn it into a cash flow asset. So that way, whenever I take profits, I try to turn it into a cash flow asset so then I can use that cash to buy more assets. So that way I am not reliant on a job. For those of you who know, I lost, I quit where I went on disability back in June of last year and I no longer work. But luckily I have enough sources of income to keep me afloat and I can do this with you guys every day now. Not cashing out, I meant spending the XRP. Oh, okay, spending the XRP, I got it. I misunderstood you, Crypto Roger. Resident B was in the house, said hello. Shay says let it fall. Hey, the lower it gets, the more we can buy, right? The more we can get when we buy. What a week we have had. The financial system is in some trouble. Ain't that the truth? Everything's crashing. We just went over that. I mean, it's been rotating. I mean, software companies, tech companies, AI companies, gold and silver had a massive pullback last week. It's rough right now. It's not looking pretty. What up, William? Haven't seen you in the stream in a while, William. Welcome back. Race Fan and Raul are both in the house today. I appreciate you guys being here. Shay says, I'm putting in another 1K if it goes under $1. I believe Shay is talking about XRP there. Good afternoon from Lakeland, Florida, Kevin Hawthorne. I appreciate you being here today. Great opportunity to pick up a lot of different cryptos. Yeah, it is a fire sale right now. It is a blue light special on everything right now. Let it fall, they say. And again, I think it's going to go to 55K. I'll do a recap for anyone who came in late as well and cover everything that we've done up to this point. Real quick, let me just do a quick check and see what I'm working with here. All right. So we'll do a recap. And again, sign off in the chat. The chat's the lifeblood of the stream. I appreciate all of you. Memberships are available if you want to pick up a membership and get in that members only live stream. Again, we were talking about shorting Bitcoin just last night. Race Fan said, picked up some bags this morning. HBAR, XRP, Ondo, Sui, CC, tomorrow, Flare. Okay. Yeah. There's going to be more buying opportunities to come, I am afraid. This will be great so I can get more at a discount. Yes, everyone's going to be able to get a discount. What do I think about Sui? I have not done any at all research on Sui. So I can't give you any thoughts on that one, Raul. I don't even know the tokenomics of it right now. Who is selling? Mr. ADTNZ. Okay. I'm not selling. I don't put in orders. I go in, buy spot, and send to my cold wallets. Okay. I send to cold wallets once the orders are filled. But usually, I mean, every time I've put it, like I would say 90% of the time when I put in an order, I put it in lower than what the price is at, and I usually get it at that price. It usually comes back down to that price eventually, one way or another. Why is the market bleeding? Well, I did cover that. It was AI stocks, tech stocks, bad jobs data. I mean, right now it's just complete risk off rotation. So that's why we're seeing so many people fleeing to gold and silver. It's bad. And I think it's all tied to public credit. And I think it's all tied to this falsehood of the AI sector being propped up with debt. My opinion, not financial advice. All your family members are very upset because you told them the prices Jake was giving you. I'm sorry, Yeshua. I'm sorry. He got a lot of people. But again, I'm here for the long view. I'm here about dollar cost averaging in over time. Sometimes we have to pay a high price for the lessons we learn. Unfortunately. Payday is next week, so if it stays low, I'll get a whole bunch more XRP. There you go. Dollar cost average in. Good news, bad news, support levels, etc. It doesn't seem to matter much because XRP, like most altcoins, just follows Bitcoin. It does. What will it take for XRP to decouple from Bitcoin? Well, this is an excellent question. I always love this question. So what it's going to take for XRP to decouple from Bitcoin is utility. We're going to have to see this payments continue to rise. And I do think this hyper liquid play with Ripple is going to bring more liquidity to the ledger, which gives XRP more to switch between. We've been seeing the account set activity spike over the last several months, and we're starting to see it translate into payments activity. Ripple Prime going live, G Treasury going live. And again, we're still waiting on the market structure bill. So in order for it to decouple from Bitcoin, it will take utility. My opinion. Always been my opinion. And again, like, so what will that look like? I think we'll actually see that take place through the payments activity. Once we get up above 2 million and maintain, we'll probably see price rise a little bit. And if we keep pushing higher, think about it. With this kind of level and how it's ramping up, if this continues to ramp up at this pace, not suggesting that it is or won't or whatever the case may be, but if it were to continue, can you imagine what that would do for the utility of XRP if we start getting that much? So, I mean, it's going to have an influence on price as this continues to ramp up. So we'll really see it play out. But right now it's following Bitcoin. And when we're talking about the Bitcoin levels and it following XRP, that's why I created this model actually just last night and set my buy level. And again, not financial advice to anyone, set my personal buy level at 80 cents because I do believe that Bitcoin's going to get to 55K. And we'll see what happens with the strategy earnings report today after market close. But that's going to have a very, very big impact on it. Let's see. I get paid next week. I'll get more XRP. There you go. Janie Doe says, to the moon, Alice. Over $12 down on silver is total manipulation. Well, there's a bunch of people playing with leverage and people are running to gold and silver. So what do the bigwigs do when they see a bunch of longs going up? They short the shit out of it so they make the money. So I watched it plummet and I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy it here at $73. And I actually looked at that last night too. I didn't talk about that one in the members only live stream. I did that. I had that thought later, unfortunately. But I did buy some silver today at 73. Have the big guys at Ripple chimed in on what's going on with the crypto market in general? No, they haven't. And honestly, there's nothing for them to really chime in on with all the prices going down. It's the overall stock market. Crypto's still considered a risk asset, and there's a major rotation out of risk assets right now. We're seeing it in not just crypto, we're seeing it in the tech stocks as well, and now we're starting to see it bleed into AI stocks. We already saw it hit metals as well. So this is not just crypto. This is the stock market. This is not good all the way around. My opinion, not financial advice. So I asked everyone who holds Canton to give me a thumbs up in the chat. So we got Janie Doe, Raul, Race Fan. Okay. So a few people hold Canton. I hold Canton. I'm going to make another purchase here in the very near future as soon as my transfer clears. Janie Doe. Crypto, if XRP goes under $1, I'll buy some more. There you go. Okay. Roger that. Laughing out. So anyone who believes in XRP long term is going to be buying at sub $1 if it goes to below $1. And we are getting close to that dollar. You are not wrong. Bitcoin down at 65K now and not looking much better. The pedo coin. Okay. Not sure what that is. Bitcoin. Oh, I got it. I understand now. This is why Bitcoin is going to Coinbase by BlackRock. Well, don't forget too, this is possible, but don't forget too that we talked earlier that Coinbase also does custody for BlackRock. So it's hard to determine all those transfers if they're being moved there for them to be sold or if they're being moved there for them to be custodied. Pretty smart on BlackRock's choice to pick a pick a place that could sell it to know also to custody it, you know. What do you think will happen to Bitcoin if it's announced that JE founded it? Oh man. That would be brutal. I mean, okay, so I haven't broken this out in a while. I have to bring it out since we're talking about this stuff. Because a lot of people weren't ready for it when I was talking about it months ago. But when we're looking at Bitcoin, I have to share a theory with you, and here's how prepared I am for it because I never take it down. Let's go to all-time Bitcoin. I have been talking about the Bitcoin volume bubble for months and months and months now. If you look at the beginning of Bitcoin and the amount of volume that was involved, you can see it, this massive amount of volume. And it got all the way up here to 70,000. And then since then, this volume has decayed off. And we haven't seen any real volume in Bitcoin since the price was about 32,000. So all of this is like leverage, strategy, investment companies, treasury companies, all of these things. So if this bottom falls out and these major companies start to get liquidated, there's no one there to catch it. So if it comes out that something dirty in the e-files, I think we could see a pullback of Bitcoin to sub 40,000 to 30,000. I think that just the strategy issue, I think when they come out with the earnings on strategy this afternoon, I think that could dump this as low as 55,000. So if we get, even more files, I think that brings in the sub 40 to 30, $25,000 Bitcoin, which of course would be terrible for the rest of the market. But that's how the rest of the market finally can start to decouple from Bitcoin, because the other things have the opportunity to start moving off of utility, and the balloon that is AI and the balloon that is Bitcoin would be popped at that point. Now, granted, let's not to say still a $30,000 Bitcoin over 15 years is still an amazing return if you held from the beginning of that 15 years. And who's not to say it won't start climbing again once it flushes out all that bad information, right? There's a lot of money behind Bitcoin. We have to be real with that. So, I don't know. It leaves a lot of... I think if some dirty stuff comes out with the dirty e-files, then I think sub $40,000 Bitcoin is possible. How about that? Oh, man. Let's get back into chat. Let's see. Chat. Got some Canton thanks to this channel. Okay. Well, again, nothing's ever financial advice. I'm just letting you guys know what I'm doing, the things I find out, the research I'm doing, etc. XRP is getting used more and more every day. That is a fact. Stephen Haynes says, I pray that this is the XRP decoupling we've been looking for and needing. I mean, if it is a decoupling, that means there's going to be more pain involved. But it is a potential possibility. We need to ask ourselves, why is everything aligning with the Clarity Act? Well, again, I don't think the Clarity Act is going to be done until shortly before midterms, if we're lucky. I don't think it's going to be done this month or in April or anything like that. I think that's some hopium, but that's just me. I would love to be wrong. Let's see. You guys are doing awesome with the chat. I appreciate it so much. Vince Brown in the house says today, 3 XRP purchases within the last 12 hours. If it goes below $1, I might hit my goal earlier. Well, there you go. Yeah, if it goes below $1, I'm going to do some serious adding to my XRP stack. I mean, sub $1 XRP is ridiculous considering all the valuations and everything that's happened over the last 12 months with Ripple. I just don't see how sub $1 XRP makes sense. It's a great buying opportunity. But again, that's me, not financial advice. I believe the adoptions of CBDCs by the European market is getting major liquidity issue and trust issues with the global markets in general. BRIC nations trade is being considered more seriously. Well, yeah, I mean, not just the CBDCs in Europe, but also CBDC in China, right? And China wants to have a CBDC based on the yuan that's backed on gold, right? That's another reason why gold and silver are pumping so hard right now. There's a lot of uncertainty in the global geopolitical elements of this too. And we just talk about I didn't even talk about, what's going on with the US and Iran and Russia. I mean, we can get into that stuff if you guys want. But all of this impacts the overall global markets. But a lot of people don't want to hear the narrative that Bitcoin's not really in charge. I mean, Bitcoin's in charge of the rest of the crypto market, but Bitcoin's not in charge. The geopolitical overall global economy is what's in charge. And nothing is safe when mass liquidations are happening across the board. It's just how it goes. We did have a great chat last night in the show about what I thought was coming, and so far, it's been playing out. Again, I was talking about shorting. Come on, brain. I was talking about buying puts on BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF IBIT. Did that this morning. Turned out to be a good buy. I talked about XRP going to $1.25. Did that this morning. So again, members only live streams are awesome. You can become a member. That is available to you. It's $7.99, and that gets you the members only live stream. I am working on a weekly newsletter I'm going to send out every Sunday to give you guys kind of an advance on maybe what to expect for the week coming, and then also everything that we covered the week before. And then, of course, because you would be a founding member, everything that comes out down the road would be included in that as well for you. That's tough. He did that to a lot of people, and he made good money doing it. Yeah, I know. I'm assuming you're talking about Jake Claver still. He got a lot of people. A lot of people are hurting right now because of Jake Claver. And it sucks. It does. Vince Brown, permission domains are going to help payments 100%. Then a permission DEX will really unlock the utility. Yes. A permission DEX, right? Giving them the value to switch, or giving them the ability to switch between things right there on the ledger using XRP as a liquidity? Heck yes. That is the idea of what XRP is supposed to be used for, and they're trying to move it all into one neighborhood on chain. You're absolutely right, Vince. That's a great call out. What utility does Bitcoin actually have? There's your answer. It's a store of value. It's a pet rock. It's digital gold. Its value is strictly determined by what people are willing to pay for it. That's really it. I mean, sure, you can use it for payments and stuff like that, but the cost and the fees, it's just not practical. It's actually better to use cash than Bitcoin, as far as the practicality of it, which cash is pretty much obsolete now anyway. So, yeah, there's really no value in Bitcoin, unfortunately, in my opinion. That's why I rotated out of it. I'm glad I did. I started selling it at 115K. Now, I was talking about getting back into it again just because of how much backing is behind it with BlackRock and, major players across the world. So I don't think it's going to go away, but I might get my opportunity to get back into it. I got out of it starting at 115, and I sold my starting at 115, and I sold my final bit of it around 92. So I got out just in time with Bitcoin. What up, three brothers? Welcome to stream. Glad you could make it in there today. Will you come back on live after markets close and strategy is clipped? I might do a live stream for that. We'll see. Just kind of a hangout and watch it. That could be fun. Dormant BTC wallets are offloading. Where are you getting that information from, Steven? I'm curious. I haven't seen that. I mean, I just know the overall market, and I'll do a recap for everyone who's come in late, but the overall market is being destroyed. It's not just crypto. I mean, metals took a hit last week, and now tech stocks are taking a hit this week. I think housing might be next because I think public credit's getting destroyed. We have a major liquidity issue right now. Like, I'm not trying to say sky is falling chicken little, but we could be at the entry level to a recession. Remember, I was talking last week. If you guys were in the stream, I was talking last week with the pullbacks of gold and silver that was the event. Now I understand they were up for the month, but the fact of how much was liquidated in hours was an event that we haven't seen in nearly a half century. We're talking like the stock market lost over $15 trillion in a day. Right? We had the worst day in the stock market yesterday than we've had in 5 years. So everyone wants to know what's bleeding crypto. This is just not good for the economy in general. Literally the worst day in the stock market in 5 years last year or yesterday. Today's not looking better, is it? Nvidia's pulling back, Bitcoin's pulling back. I mean, it's just not pretty. I'll buy more at $1.20, 90 cents, 60 cents. All right, yep, stair step it down. That's a great way to dollar cost average in. So potentially, when might this dump rebound? Do we know of anything coming? I don't know where again, the next levels I'm looking at are 55K. It could go below that depending on what happens. When might this dump actually rebound? I think 80 cents that's where my target is right now. Could it go lower than that? Sure. I mean, Bitcoin could go to 20K and then it could go to as low as 50 cents or maybe even 40 cents. But that's not XRP's fault. It's just liquidity. It's money. It's the market. We're seeing utility turn on. That's a good thing. And again, that's why we're in this for the next 5 to 10 years. Right now, it's just bad in the overall markets. You buy physical silver or ETF. If you physical, you buy rounds or bars, website address where you buy at $73. Thanks. Today, I bought an ETF. I didn't buy physical silver. I do hold physical silver. I have it in my security box at the bank. Okay. But I do not have, I didn't buy physical silver today. I bought the ETF so I could get in quickly. Crypto Roger buys physical only. And I will buy more physical silver. But in order to make sure, because of how volatile it's been and how fast it's been moving, I wanted to get it at $73, so I bought the ETF. ETFs are selling hard for BTC. Everything's selling hard right now for Bitcoin. It's not pretty. Has anyone else checked into how Da Vinci Jeremy and Jack Mullers are doing today? Just checking. If you didn't own any CC, what would be your idea of a decent bag? 3K? Are you talking like $3K or 3,000 CC? I don't want to give anyone advice. I mean, I'm trying to get my Canton bag up to 100,000 Canton. That's my roughly 100,000 Canton. That way, if it goes to like $10 or something like that down the road, it's worth $1 million. But I'm trying to get to 100,000 Canton. That's where I'm at with CC right now. If XRP loses the $1.25 flash crash lows, next support way down near $1, can XRP realistically hold $1 even if Bitcoin hits 40 or 50K? And I think if we pull this over here, this is what I'm thinking is going to happen. Again, not financial advice. They're laid out next to each other. So I think if Bitcoin hits 55K, I think we see that 80 cent XRP. I don't think it's holding $1. This is what I think is going to happen. I'm letting you guys know what I think is going to happen. And so far, the first two have hit. So if it gets to 60K, I think we see $1 XRP, and that'll break for 80 cent at 55K. That's how it seems to be moving for me. Again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. But this is what I'm looking at. Steven says, I hold CC. My goal is to get 100K CC. Okay. I'll keep buying XRP. Yeah, you can keep buying XRP. I mean, well, 3K in the Canton is, I mean, you can, I just bought 4,600 Canton for like $800 or something like that, not too long ago. So, I mean, and again, there's no one number to rule them all for everyone. You invest what you can when you can, you dollar cost average in. Everybody's situation is different, right? But right now, I mean, this is kind of what we're dealing with right now as far as the macro pressures, tech and AI driven, soft jobs data, delayed rate cuts, ETF outflows. I mean, it's the overall market. Garbage right now. Let's get back into the chat here. Let's see. Can't go wrong with XRP. I agree. Hopefully the ETFs hammer this drop. Well, I mean, the sad thing was like Grayscale dumped half of their ETF trust Friday morning before the flash crash of gold and silver. I wish I was in the know a day ahead of time like everyone else. Physical rounds are good, coins are good, but sometimes the premium isn't worth it. Right, in this case, I went with ETFs in this case just to buy cheap quickly and not have to worry about the premiums. Good day, Corey Williams. Welcome back to the stream. And if you guys are new to the stream, make sure you're subscribed. We go live Monday through Saturday at noon every single day. The channel is about the long view. It's for what crypto is going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, not what it is necessarily today, tomorrow, or next week. But we need to know where we are and what we're dealing with so we know where we're going. So that's why we follow the news and price work every single day. We dollar cost average in over time. We're here for the long view. Quelly says, if the dollar is losing value or whatever it's called, why are people liquidating? What will they do with all this cash? Well, in a stock market crash, people are liquidating typically because they're being unwound with leverage. They're losing money. It's not that they're necessarily selling and taking the cash. When longs, like when people are playing with leverage and longs are liquidated, then they lose that money. So it's gambling. So that's why we say like $14 trillion evaporated. When people sell and price goes down, that's what it's not that $14 trillion in cash is now available. It's that selling pressure lowered all, like it literally evaporates like that when you're messing with leverage. So it's not that this money has a place to roll to, more so than it is that people are losing money right now. This isn't profit taking action. This is people getting liquidated out of positions and losing a lot of money. It is bleeding right now. It's probably one of the worst days in several years. Let's see. Why is my chat bar not working? Let me pull this up. We'll get back into XRP, see what XRP is doing. Down, still at $1.25. Not bad. Still $1.25. Let's go to 5-minute chart. Trying to ramp back up there. Let's see. Where's my chat? There it is. What political party is more in favor of crypto? Seems like a lot of flip-flopping. Republicans are more in favor of crypto. Banks have their hands in the pockets of the Democrats by far. My opinion, not financial advice. And again, everything in the streams is never financial advice. It is just my opinion. I am not a financial advisor. You should do your own research. Let's see. So quick recap. Let me see where we're at with the stream here. What are we working with? 40 people. All right. Well, if you guys are new, again, we're here Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday at noon every single day, covering the news, covering the price action, covering what's happening with crypto and what's happening with the overall stock market. Because even though crypto world follows Bitcoin, Bitcoin follows the stock market and the rest of the tech stocks and the economy. So when we know what's happening, we can kind of paint a picture of what's going to happen. We have to know where we are so we know where we're going. Looking at this right here, these are, again, not financial advice. This is what I think is going to happen over the next few days as Bitcoin continues to fall back in this liquidation period. We are going to have the strategy earnings report this afternoon at market close. I think I'm going to go live for that at 3 o'clock and cover the market close because I think for sure it's going to go as low as 55K. I think strategy is going to get absolutely beat up this afternoon. And long divorce lawyers. What? The discretionary trader. Yeah, go long on divorce lawyers. I get it now. I get the joke. Okay. Took me for a second there. Long on divorce lawyers. You think a lot of people are going to lose their wives after this liquidation event, I'm guessing. Very possible. I think a lot of people are hurting right now. And I don't mean to laugh at it, but I am here for the long view. I'm about investing in crypto over the next 10 years. So to me, it's a buying opportunity. But I'm long in a lot of these things. I did pick up some more silver. I have my buy order in for XRP at 80 cents. Thinking about picking up some Ethereum at $1,000 if it gets that low. To me, it's a fire sale right now. And when we're looking at the overall crypto market, it's bleeding everywhere. Again, the 5 core infrastructure pieces of this channel, as far as crypto goes, are Canton Network, XRP, Chainlink, HBAR, and Ondo. Those are the 5 that I invest in regularly. But we have to keep an eye out on what's happening in the overall market every single day, so we know what to expect, right? You have to know where you are in order to figure out where you're going. Maximus Crypto and Smoke dropped a really good video today if anyone wants to follow the fundamentals. Okay. Retiring from Navy in 2029, goal is 2030. Hopefully, what, in your opinion, is your ideal XRP bag? Well, it's different for everyone, and thank you for your service, as in the Air Force as well. It's different for everybody. To me, it's not, what's the right bag or so. What's retirement for you? To me, retirement is not having to wake up to an alarm anymore, being able to decide what I'm going to do for myself that day. It doesn't mean necessarily not working again. To me, retirement is reclaiming my time, having full control over my time. That's what retirement is to me. So I can't really answer that question. It's going to be a different answer for everyone. But my philosophy, my investment philosophy, and again, not financial advice, but my personal investment philosophy is 10% of my paycheck every single month for 10 years of my life. And I think if the average person can do that, then they will be at a point where they're able to retire early and take their time back and set up cash flow items to put themselves in a position where they're not reliant on a single source of income. To me, that's financial freedom. To me, that's retirement. Not to say I won't, continue building things out, but investment is the first leg of it, right? Everything else comes after. That's just me, though. Not financial advice. I'm here for the long view. That's what the long view is. It's about building systems that help you get to the point where you have time freedom again. Money is a tool. Crypto is a tool. I remember when ETH was $300 too. I remember the first time I was looking at ETH, actually. The very first time was when it was on pre-sale on Coinbase in 2015. I had put $2,500 into Coinbase and I was going to buy ETH at $1 a token for the pre-sale. And at the time, my now ex-wife really, really, really wanted to get a motorcycle and wanted to get her motorcycle license. And I had promised her that she could do it. So I decided not to pre-purchase ETH at $1 and instead bought her a motorcycle, which she took in the divorce. Is what it is. Lesson learned. 2,500 ETH would have been worth over $8 million at its all-time high. 100K XRP is a good focal point. Okay, I think 10,000 XRP puts you in the top 5 to 10% of real people holding XRP. I mean, if you're trying to, again, it just depends on what your personal goal is. Crypto Rogers in the Navy. Shout out if you served, throw it out in the chat. Shout out to all my people who served, all my fellow veterans. If you served, throw it out in the chat for me. Let me know what branch you served in. Race fans heading out of here today. Maybe after markets close today. Yeah, I think I'm going to hop on today at 3 for the market close and see what happens with strategy, see if I can live stream anything with that. You remember ETH being at $28. Okay. Do you like HBAR and XLM? I do have HBAR. I like HBAR. It's one of my 5 core pillars. XLM, I do have a little. It's one of my dart throws. But I'm really looking into Hyperliquid more so than XLM. If I'm thinking about adding in, if I'm thinking about rotating something out. But yeah, I don't have a ton of info on XLM, but I do like HBAR. It's one of my core pillars just for the sheer sense of tokenization. But if I'm looking at payments, I'm looking at stuff now. I think like XLM, Hyperliquid. I'm really looking into Hyperliquid right now, if I'm being honest with you. Oh yeah, strategy down 14% today. Knew that was coming. That's what I was saying. Like, and their earnings report's going to get absolutely demolished with Bitcoin being down. It's going to create a vicious cycle. 8K XRP, and you're on top 5% of all wallets, right? Don't forget, of all wallets, that's including Ripple's wallets, that's including exchange wallets, that's including multiple company wallets and things like that. So that's why I said, like, as far as people, I think if you hold 10K XRP, as far as people go, you're honestly probably in the top 1% of actual people holding XRP. Brother is an Air Force lieutenant colonel. Okay. Where does he serve? Remember, I was in 15 years ago. Well, not 15 years ago. How long ago? 11, 12 years ago? I got out in 2011. No, shit. 15 years ago. Excuse my language. Yeah, I got out 15 years ago, so he may have been a lieutenant when I was in. Say a prayer for Sailor. Okay. No, thank you. I don't need to say a prayer for Sailor. I'll short strategy. How about that? You like XLM and HBAR. Okay. I like HBAR as well. I did a little bit of research in XLM and picked up a little bit of it a while ago. I'm down on it right now. I might pick up a little bit more just to kind of even out that bag. But I don't know. Man, we've been going for over an hour, and I just realized how many people we got in the stream. It's been a busy one. You guys have had the chat rolling today. I appreciate that. We've done good covering the actual price and what's going on. And again, I say it all the time. Your time is your most valuable commodity. So the fact that you guys take your time to be here with me, I really do appreciate that. That means a lot to me. It does. Not trying to be all sappy on y'all, but let's see. Let me pull this up. We're watching that. We don't want to watch that. Oh, 34 in there? Yeah, 36. I think I'm going to call it for now. I am going to be back at 3 o'clock. I'll go live at 3 o'clock today, and we're going to cover what's going on with the market close and what's going on with the strategy earnings report. Bitcoin could take a massive dump. Remember, markets close at 4 o'clock Eastern, so it'll be 3 o'clock Central. So here in 2 hours, I'll be back with a live stream. It's just going to be kind of a hangout. If you guys want to join me, you can. It's going to be to keep an eye out on what's happening with Bitcoin, with strategy coming out with their earnings report. I do think we're going to see Bitcoin get as low as 55K. Could go lower. Again, not financial advice, but it does mean potential buying opportunity. You are not alone, but that's why this channel is about the long view. It's not about what crypto is today or tomorrow. It's about what it's going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And I know a lot of you bought at the top and have lost a lot of money. I'm not here to fool you, here to fill you up full of hype and hopium. Okay, that's not what we do. I'm here for facts, figures, numbers, logic, and the long view, as well as every single person in this stream, for the most part, who've been here long enough will tell you. But I'll see you guys at 3. If not, I'll see you at noon tomorrow because I stream at noon Monday through Saturday. Later. Don't be scared.